Hanson from Hanson, you're on popularity.
When you're writing songs for a new album, do you take past successes and failures into consideration, or does that factor into the process at all?
When you're writing songs, you're writing songs. You're writing songs that you instinctively feel excited about. I mean, you do have a sense of what songs are hits and what songs are what kinds of songs connect most with an audience, and you learn from those things. But you don't sit around going, well, how do I recreate that song was successful, so I want to do that again. Because unfortunately, that doesn't really, at least from my experience, just doesn't produce great music. So I think ultimately writing songs goes back to your same gut instincts and kind of understanding of it, and what you feel like is good, and whether it gets you excited.
Would you say that there's a certain type of sound or a lyric that it just would not be a Hanson song without it?
Well, I don't think anything's off limits. I mean, our whole mindset as people and our band, is definitely, it's not that it's quote unquote happy, but it's motivated. I mean, it's always been that way. And you have songs about pain and about celebration and about happiness and about love and about all of it. But I think in the end, it definitely is driven by sort of a sense of optimism and of kind of looking for the answer. And so are there things that are off limits? No, I don't think that there's things that are off limits. I think aside from just screaming and kind of non-musical subjects,
How important is it for you to feel that you have a flow from song to song on an album? Do you focus on that at all when putting the album together?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, an album is an experience. A lot of times there's songs that don't make albums because they just don't seem to fit into the overall picture. And that's always something you factor in. I mean, a lot of times that happens naturally, too. I mean, you're able to figure out what the story of the album and the feel of the album is by the songs that you write over time. And almost always there's a song that sort of acts as the anchor for the new period of music, and a lot of times there's songs that early in the writing process stand out as the opening track because it has a certain feel to it. But yeah, definitely the sequence is important.
Does music just happen?
Does it just happen? No. Music is sort of out in it. I think it's out there. I mean, inspiration is out there all the time, and you have to pay attention. You have to listen. But the other half is your own kind of craft and dedication to it, and the process of kind of stopping yourself and going in and deciding to make something of it. Make something of it, inspiration. So I guess the inspiration's out there. It does just happen. The inspiration happens, freely, but you have to decide to use it, and that's, I think, where really being a musician and being an artist comes into play.
When a song has been in the works for a while, does it change typically a lot from its original conception? Is there a song on the album that changed a lot?
That's an interesting question. There's always a little evolution with songs, yeah. I mean, if you listen back to the very first recording of an idea, it oftentimes will have changed. But most of that, I think, comes from the arrangement and how you choose to put the instruments down. It's not as much the change in the song itself. There is one song, the song "These Walls," and that's a song that was around for a long, long time, and it changed in the sense that it continued to be built over time. And early recordings of it, there were many incarnations of sort of, what felt like a finished song, but the final song really didn't become what it is we finally decided to finish it for this album. So there's definitely evolution that goes on.
Does it bother you when you have to leave songs off an album?
Oh yeah, sure. There's always a bittersweet feeling with albums. There's always going to be a song or two that you know doesn't make it.
What makes a good lyric?
What makes a good lyric? I don't know. I mean, I think of it as one package. I think of the music and the lyrics and the performance, you know, being really tied together. You know, you take an artist like Michael Jackson, and he could take, you know, any word and make you feel it. And any great singer, I think that's true. You know, really, you know, a friend of mine that we've worked with a lot, that's done a lot of Aerosmith work, and he used to always say that somebody like Steven Tyler could sing the phone book and it would sound good, and you wouldn't care. And so with lyrics, that's a big factor in my mind. You know, is connecting with people. But I think a good lyric tells a story and really works with the melody. It doesn't get in the way. And a good lyric is the thing that people, you know, sort of internalize. You know, it may not be the very first thing that you hear or the very, very first thing that you think of when you first hear a song in detail, but as you get to know and love a song, the lyrics are the things that I think keep you engaged.
Creating music is like organizing an accident. What do you think about that statement?
Creating music is like organizing an accident. Well, I think art in general is a little bit like organized chaos. Yeah, you know, nobody really knows exactly where an idea comes from. I mean, not just for art, for anything. Where does an idea actually come from? And I think more often than not, ideas are a result of lots of little conclusions, lots of little things that you see, and sort of paying attention in life, looking around yourself. And creating music is organizing an accident. Creating music is to a degree, yeah, to a degree.
What decides that the time is right to go into the studio to record an album?
Well, there's a lot of factors. As far as recording a song, there's a point where you know that the song is done, and that's, you know, you don't want to go into the studio with an unfinished song. I mean, there are people that actually work on lyrics and work on, you know, more, you know, the songwriting in the studio. As much as possible, I think for me, that you don't want to be in that mode.
When you listen to the songs on Shout It Out Now, do you still feel the same way about them? Has your view changed?
I still feel the same way. I'm still proud of them, and I think they've stood up since they were first put out. I think, yeah, short answer, yes. I still feel the same.
Is there a song that you feel has helped to define where Hanson is right now in your career?
Oh gosh, the short answer is there isn't one. There's not one song that fully summarizes it. But you know, the two singles that we really worked on Shout It Out and are planning to work in Canada, Thinking About Something and Give a Little. They represent, I think, an aspect of this record which is different from others. They both have a real sort of deference to soul music and a little bit more of a throwback feeling. I mean, Think About Something is really a reference to Ray Charles and early Motown, and Give a Little is more of a sort of a straight 60s pop song. But they represent, I think, a really strong part of what we're saying on Shout It Out. Not everything by any means, but it definitely is a great introduction.
Mm-hmm. When the sun eventually sets on the band, what do you want your legacy to have been?
Oh my gosh, what do I want our legacy to be? I want the music itself to stand up, and for people for it to live on. There's a lot of artists that you think of in relation think for me, and I think everybody agrees with this, it's always been about the songs and the music. There's some artists that you really do, 30, 40 years later, the songs, they still sound alive, they still sound fresh, and I think that we want people to reinvent and to rediscover our music over time, and for people to say, gosh, Hanson just really made music that was more timeless. It wasn't it didn't have to feel as much like it came in one era, and you go, oh, that's a 1980s hit, and it just doesn't stand up anymore.
And any final thoughts? Anything that you'd like to say to the readers of popularity?
Well, obviously, the tour itself. I mean, we're really excited about the Shattered Out tour. It's our in Canada. This will be our most complete tour of Canada we've ever done, which will be great. It's something we're really excited about doing, and the album is, though it's been released for a while in the U.S. It's officially coming out soon. Following the tour, and we're excited about that happening. And with the shows, we just want to invite people to come out. The shows will be a mix of everything. A lot of music from Shattered Out, and also songs from each of the records. So our job is to entertain and make people feel like they can let loose for a minute and just escape into that 2 hours of rock and roll.